So here we are in the cellar at the American restaurant, and we're going to be talking about how to deliver the best flavor from each bottle of wine, from opening it to decanting it to selecting that perfect wine glass. To help us with this information, we're going to go to the Managing Director of Marquee Selections, Chris Cribb. Chris, thank you for being with us in the cellar again.
Great to be here, Bonnie. I brought my Marquee Classic Riesling.
Yes.
So Riesling's that off-dry style. The first glass that we have there for the Riesling, you can see it's a longer, slender glass.
I can.
These are...
Why?
Because what you're trying to do is to concentrate the aromas. So you very much like if you had a champagne glass, you're trying to concentrate the aromas. You know, the traditional champagne glass is a flute.
It is.
A tall flute, and so that brings the bubble up. But this, with the Riesling glass, you know, it's a little. You can see the difference between this and the Chardonnay glass.
Is the sweeter it is, the narrower the top, maybe?
It's a little bit like that. It's really, it's more the grape style.
Okay.
And so if they put things on a grape charge from lightest to heaviest, and you know, as you see the grapes go through and you look at the different styles, you know, your Pinot Grigios are over here, your Chardonnays, your Viogniers are over here, and that's kind of the way the glass pairings go. So you're going to probably want to take and have your taller, slender glasses for your lightest wines. If you look over here to our red wine glass, you can compare it in size to our white wine glass. There's a difference. Yeah, there's just a little bit of size difference. This is made for the light, small white, or small bowl red. And so this is kind of the universal, everyday wine glass for Riedel. And then, you know, we've got a couple others we can talk about.
Tell me why we're getting the bowl wider as we become more intense flavor. Why are we doing that?
Well, from a scientific standpoint, what Riedels went about doing once they became kind of the kings of the wine glassware area is that they said, okay, we want to scientifically go, how does the grape express itself? And what is the way that we can show that more? And number two, of how much area you're giving it to be able to spin and to move in there. And number three, you know, it's also a matter of how it goes on your palate, because you don't want the wine to go way back on the back side of your, you know.
Oh, okay, so it's how it enters your mouth.
Yeah, so let's start with the Riesling here real quick, and we'll swing back here.
Okay.
So you can join me here.
Okay, now, because it comes up, what is that going to mean in terms of at the moment that the wine hits my mouth, where's it going to go?
It should go towards the front of your mouth.
Which is where our sensors are for sweets.
For sweet. Which is, you know, why a lot of people are perceiving.
Okay,
kind of hits the front part of that tongue there.
I knew about the air part. I didn't know about how it delivered the wine to your mouth. And so this is specifically designed to deliver it to the front of the mouth where sweet is detected.
Yes, yes it is. And the other thing,
very good.
You know, we've talked a little bit about crystal versus regular glass. And, you know, I think this is a good time to use this as a play. When you're talking about crystal, the nice lip that you have on crystal, that also puts it and delivers it to a different part of your mouth than a large, heavy, thick, you know, thick glass. Like if you go into, you know, a big diner on the side of the road, they have those big, thick water glasses.
Yes, they do.
You know, that's gonna make it go into the middle part of your mouth, and you're gonna miss the sweet spot on your tongue.
Yes, you are.
So that's Riesling that we started off with there.
Got right to the sweet part of my tongue.
Now we're going to hit the Chardonnay next.
Okay.
And we're going to, you know, we see that this gives you a little bit more room to move it around in the glass.
Okay. We want a little more air here.
We want a little more air. So this one's got a little more of that tropical, kind of that.
You're right. It went further back in my tongue. Okay, so the tart, it hit right on my tongue where we're supposed to detect tart.
Yeah, where you get that tart, and you
no
get that,
idea, Chris.
the back side where you also do the tannins, but this doesn't. I mean, it's a white wine that doesn't have very much
that,
tannins.
but boy, it sure registered the tart.
Right, and so as you look at putting the wrong wine in the wrong glass, you're going to get the wine delivered on the wrong part of your palate too. So
Okay.
So
moving on down the road here.
So now we're going to go over to reds.
Okay, we're at
and
red.
what I've set up for the red experiment here is to go with 3 beautiful glasses. We've got number 1 beautiful glass that I might have served at some point or another.
Okay, why have you chosen this? And sometimes if you're serving large crowds, plastic ends up happening.
This is a fine plastic tumbler.
It is a fine plastic tumbler.
You know, as opposed to some of the styrofoam cups and things.
That's never going to work.
No, this is fine. But what I wanted to show you is this is the same wine delivered in 3 different glasses.
Oh.
So what we're going to kind of go through is how does the glass really affect what you're tasting.
Okay.
So first we'll cheers to our plastic
Tell
friends.
me what we're having for plastic.
Yes, this is a Spanish wine. This is a Bordeaux style blend. So this is the Aljibes, which is 2005 blend of Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, and Cabernet Franc.
Wow. Okay.
So,
some of our favorites.
Yes.
Okay. Now we're going to try it in our plastic glass. Went further back in my throat.
So this is, you know, specifically made for any red wine.
Okay.
And then the third glass that we've got is the Bordeaux glass. So now
yes.
we kind of give it. It gets a little more easier to smell something from this glass.
Okay.
Because
just like my Chardonnay, not just like it, but it was delivered to the front of my tongue. Okay. And you know what? You're right. It tasted like 2 different wines. Wow.
And it's just as simple as the glass. And so now if we go to the third, this is the Bordeaux glass.
So we're getting a lot of air in here.
A lot of air to it. Really allows you to get your nose into it to bring that nose out. I think that
honestly it smells different. The nose is different. Same wine, different glass.
It really starts to allow it to bring out more of a darker fruit flavor. You get some secondary kind of spice notes to it.
What is the ideal glass for this wine?
The ideal glass for this wine that's set up that we have on the table is this glass. And it's really meant to be able to, and I think it does the best job of allowing it to get air.
When you make a decision to decant, what are the determining factors for that decision?
Sure. So, you know, when we're here at the American Restaurant, and one of my favorite places in Kansas City, and they do a great job, Jamie Jameson here, about trying to take one of the ways you do decanting is for young red wines, because it's not ready, it's not as aged as it properly should be. And decanting allows it to get that more oxygen, to kind of smooth off, to open up and air out.
So that's one reason. And we should mention here at the American Restaurant, again, one of your favorite places in mine, they have a cart of stunning decanters of all shapes and sizes. And Jamie Jameson spends a great deal of time matching the wine with the perfect decanter to deliver the best flavor. You know, to your point.
It is amazing.
It's
amazing.
amazing.
When you talk about decanters that are up to 6 feet tall, they are some really
serious.
I don't necessarily even have those in my house, so I just brought a real simple one for us to use today.
Okay, so the first time you might make a decision to decant is a young red.
Young red.
And then
second area would be something that you've had in your cellar.
Yes.
I think that usually anything that I've had for over 3 years, and I've tipped it up, it's going to have sediment to it.
Okay.
And or if you buy it and it's a little aged, this is a 2005, for example. So this is now 6 years old. It's had enough time on its side that you would go ahead and you could decant it so that you don't get that extra sediment in the glasses that you're giving to it.
Is it usually more you're decanting a red than a white, or whites also if they've been around a bit?
You know, you'll probably want to decant and look at decanting some of the whites. Just if you see any particulates in it.
Okay.
Because you have
hold it
hold it up to the light. Just take it in simple math to look at it. And you see crystals. If there's any tartaric crystals, you don't want those in your glass.
No, we
so
don't.
you probably want to go ahead and decant those out.
So let's talk about how you do that.
Sure.
Because I know there's just like, you know, a science to this too.
Well, you know, I just opened this bottle here a couple seconds ago, and what I'm going to do with this one is this is the simple part of it. You know, I really am just trying to get a nice pour going so that it's hitting the side, so that as I'm bringing it through, I can see. I've got some bright lights here, so I can kind of see through the side if I'm getting any particulates.
So you're looking for sediment, and you're going down the side and letting it have some space to travel.
Yes.
So this is the way to decant in order to accomplish what you're trying to accomplish.
Yes. And you know, if you, I could pour a little bit more in there, but if I were in a darker spot, I would have a light, usually a candle on this side, so that you could see through the bottle.
Chris, you've shown us how to decant in this kind of container.
Absolutely.
There's more than one option for decanting. Please show us.
So this is another tool.
Okay.
This is,
I call it wine toys.
Yes.
Yes.
The Venturi.
Venturi, okay.
And the Venturi is a personal aerator.
Okay.
So this has probably gotten into somebody's stocking that's watching this, hopefully. And what happens is this is put over glass, and the wine is poured into and through it, and it makes
Oh, I see. I can see the air coming. Yeah,
yes.
I can see the air going
so
in.
if you look inside of it, what you would find is that it's got two holes. And the two holes, when you look at it, give it extra oxygen, makes it kind of make a whistling sound,
Okay.
and it actually mimics the whole process you would have of decanting a whole bottle. So I thought
All right, so you can do this by glass.
by glass.
Oh,
So
okay.
you so I opened up this one bottle. I'm pouring it this time from the decanter, but if you would have just poured it straight through that,
I see.
you would have given it extra oxygen, and you're doing the same thing that I'm doing right now by having it go through those little two pipes.
So this more by glass, and that more for serving a multitude of folks. Okay.
And so now, then I went ahead and I just...
Because we did not decant this the first time we tasted it.
No, we did not.
No, and
So-
now we're going to taste the advantage of decanting.
So we've done now, we did the 3 glasses to begin with, and now we have the 2 glasses that have been decanted.
Okay.
So why don't we talk and take a taste of this
Okay.
small
So
glass
this
here?
has
So
been
is
the individual
personal aerator.
Yeah, our personal aerate. It felt like it opened the flavor got. I don't know if I want to say bigger, but more open in my mouth. Is that?
It's not, yeah.
What am
I think it's not as tight. I think it's actually given it just enough extra that it's some of the tannins that would be on the outside are kind of smoothed off.
It's smoothed off. That's
Yeah.
it. I prefer this based on what you did.
Good.
Okay. All right.
And then-
And now this is more the traditional.
The traditional decanting.
I think I prefer the personal.
Well,
Why? Because it just had got more air, or
probably because it got more air. That's also what you're going to find for personal taste in terms of where the glasses, land those wines on your mouth. That's going to be a little bit different with them.
it's true.
But I think that if we took and if you compared these with the wines we tasted earlier,
Yes.
you'd see this progression of close to open.
Yes.
And that's really why, places like the American here say, a red wine, a young red wine, or even a wine that's had enough age,
Yes.
will benefit from a little bit of that decanting.
I agree, and also, obviously the care you take with serving and storing and opening and closing, but even the selection process. Let's just talk about that a little bit. Marquee Selections. That's part of the title. It's there for a reason.
It is.
It is.
And, we've done a very good job of trying to find unique wines, wine types, wine regions, and varietals that have a great value for their money. So we're trying to find you not the $50 vineyard in Napa,
Right.
but the next $50 vineyard coming from somewhere else across the world that we can give you for $25.
There you
So I'm proud to say that everything that we've got is hand selected, that we know is small batch winemaking, and really all the winemakers have a green, sustainable focus that is a real big tie to what we're doing.
So appreciate. Where can we learn more about your portfolio?
Sure. You can find us on www.marquee.com. You can also look us up on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube.
Until we're back in the cellar again.
Well, thanks for indulging me with a few of my wine toys today.
Loved it. Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.